back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well out there. And today we're going back to the mid-90s for a John Woo American action film. But before we get into that, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. I greatly would appreciate that. Also, as always, a shameless plug for my TeePublic store. I'll leave a link for that in the description box below. And we're going back to 96, folks, for John Woo's second American film, and that one is Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow came out February 9th of 1996. It's rated R. It's an hour and 48 minutes long, had a nice budget of $50 million, especially at that period in time. And upon release, it made 70 in America and 150 worldwide, so this did make some bucks. John Woo was just coming off a Hard Target, his first American action film in 93 with Van Damme, and I absolutely love that film. And right after this, he would re-team with John Travolta on the masterpiece Face Off. I absolutely do love I love Face Off. I do think it's an action masterpiece. In this film, we have said John Travolta as Captain Deakins. He is in the United States Air Force, and he flies the stealth bomber along with his partner Christian Slater's Hale. And Samantha Mathis plays Terry Carmichael. She is a park ranger in this national park where a lot of this action takes place. Delroy Lindo is in this film. Bob Gutton, Frank Whaley, and Howie Long. Has a really nice cast. And like I said, Deakins and Hale are stealth bomber pilots, and they go out on an exercise run at night with 2 live nuclear warheads. It's an exercise, and as we find out, Deakins is going to dump the warheads, try to kill Hale, because he's going to try to ransom the warheads back to the United States government for a hell of a lot of money and become a really wealthy man. Hale gets ejected out of the plane, and while Deakins and his team are trying to recover the nukes, Hale and Terry team up and they try to stop them, and that is pretty much Broken Arrow. What to like about this film? Well, the cast is great here. Travolta, Slater, Mathis, everybody across the board is great here. It's a John Woo movie, one of our best action directors of all time, and there is some really great action scenes in this film. A beautiful film shot mostly in Arizona, Utah, and Montana, and it looks gorgeous. I've actually been to some of the locations where they shot this. They shot some of this up in Page, Arizona. I've been to Page, Arizona with my wife when we lived out there. Just a beautiful part of the country, and they absolutely captured this on film. Like I said, the action scenes, what can we say? There's some really great action scenes in this film. Some great explosions, a lot of gun battles, some hand-to-hand fights. John Woo is a master at those action set pieces, and we get some of those here as well. I think the story is interesting, and I think it moves at a good pace. Do I think this is not my favorite John Woo American action film? I do like Hard Target a little bit better, and I love Face Off. I think Face Off is superior to this film, but I still think this is a very solid action movie. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. You can still pick up this Blu-ray on Amazon. It does severely need a 4K upgrade though, because the Blu-ray transfer is okay, but this severely needs a 4K. Hopefully one day maybe Arrow get their hands on it. Hopefully somebody will, and give us a true 4K of this film. Now, this film, actually, John Woo's original cut, one of his earlier cuts, was like 2 hours long, and it had more violence in it. They actually cut the violence down to get an R rating. The same thing happened on Hard Target as well. But the movie was longer, had more violence, had more character development. Christian Slater performed most of his own stunts. Not all, but most of his own stunts in this film. And so did Howie Long as well. He did perform most of his own stunts as well. Hans Zimmer does the score. And some of this score, if you're a fan of the Scream franchise, might sound awfully familiar, because some of Hans Zimmer's score here was used in Scream 2 as Dewey Riley's theme in that movie. So if it sounds familiar and you're a fan of Scream 2, it's because it came from Broken Arrow in this film. This movie was actually supposed to come out in December of 1995. They were trying to get the movie done, but post-production was taking longer than they anticipated, trying to finish up some of the effects, which we'll get back to the effects in a second before we close out this review. And it was just taking longer than they couldn't finish it up, wrap it up, to make the December release date. So they pushed it back to February 1996, and they were able to get it out by that point in time. Now, going back, I said this isn't my favorite John Woo American action film, but it's a very solid action film, but for sure. And it's one I've seen many times over the years. I remember renting this on VHS back in the late 90s. Now, for some of the scenes, most of all the action is done for real. And there's some model work involving the stealth bomber and whatnot. But there is some stuff early in the film when Deakins hijacks the plane where some CGI is utilized, and obviously, considering this was the mid-90s, it does not look that good, especially in high def. But thank God those scenes they're not in the movie very long, and we get on to the real stuff. So it's just a minor nitpick. You know, they were using what was available at the time. But yeah, there is a little bit of CGI in the beginning of the film when Deakins hijacks the plane, and it does look rough, especially in high def. And if we ever get a 4K this, I am sure it's going to look even worse. But it's worth mentioning if you've never seen this film, or if it's been a while since you've actually seen this film. Again, I really like this movie. Again, I know I said it's not my favorite John Woo American action film, but I think it's a damn solid one. It's one like I said, I remember renting on VHS back in the late 90s. I owned it on VHS, I owned it on DVD, and I have this Blu-ray. We do severely need a 4K though. This transfer is just okay. This definitely needs an upgrade. So hopefully someday Arrow or somebody gets their hands on it and gives it a proper remaster so we can see all those beautiful Southwest landscape shots in 4K. But at the end of the day, I really like this movie. I think it's a really good, solid action film, and I would give Broken Arrow an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for Broken Arrow. What are your thoughts on this movie? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. That's it for this review, but until next time, bye.